Many people check the Certificate of Registered Matters before signing a lease in Korea. But the Certificate of Registered Matters cannot show one important risk. A lessor may have unpaid taxes for a long time. That fact does not appear in the Certificate of Registered Matters right away. When a property goes to auction, the government may take the unpaid taxes before your security deposit. In that case, you may not get your deposit back. The outcome depends on your individual situation. It is a good idea to consult a professional before signing. Today, I will show you 2 ways to check your lessor's tax payment status before you move in. The first way is to ask the lessor directly. 2 documents are needed. The first document is the Certificate of Tax Payment, National Tax. The second is the Local Tax Payment Certificate. The lessor can obtain both documents free of charge through HomeTax and gov.kr. Under Korean law, the lessor must present these tax payment certificates to the lessee when signing the lease contract. However, the lessor can instead consent before signing to let you view their unpaid tax records. That second option connects to method 2 in this video. Ask for these documents before you sign the contract. The lessor can obtain these documents and bring them to you. If the lessor refuses both the certificates and the viewing consent, it is a good idea to consult a professional before signing. A refusal can be a warning sign. The second way is to visit the tax office or district office. This method is useful if asking the lessor is difficult. This check is available until the day the lease period begins. It is unavailable once the lease period has begun. The visit method has conditions. Before signing the contract, the lessor's consent is required. After signing, if the deposit is more than 10 million Korean won, the records can be viewed without consent until the day the lease period begins. If the deposit is 10 million Korean won or less, the lessor's consent is still required after signing. Applications for national tax records are accepted at any tax office nationwide. A passport or similar ID is accepted as valid identification. Before the lease contract is signed, or if the deposit is 10 million Korean won or less, the lessor's consent is required. In this case, the lessor's signature on the application is required, or a separate consent form may be used instead. A copy of the lessor's ID is also required. If the deposit exceeds 10 million Korean won, the lessor's consent is not required, and the lease contract is required instead. Applications for local tax records are accepted at any city, district, or county tax office nationwide. A passport or similar ID is accepted as valid identification. Before the lease contract is signed, or if the deposit is 10 million Korean won or less, the lessor's consent is required. In this case, a document proving the lessor's consent is required, which can be the consent section included in the application. If the deposit exceeds 10 million Korean won, the lessor's consent is not required, and the lease contract is required instead. At these offices, you are viewing the lessor's unpaid tax records. This shows how much tax the lessor has not paid. Unlike a tax payment certificate, no documents can be taken home. Copying and taking photos are not allowed. The records can only be viewed on site. When the check is made without consent, the lessor is informed that the records were viewed. Please know this before you go. Here is a summary. The first method is to ask the lessor for the tax certificates. Do this before you sign the contract. The second method has conditions for checking without the lessor's consent. Your deposit must be more than 10 million Korean won. The contract must be signed, and the check is available until the day the lease period begins. This video provides general guidance on checking the lessor's tax payment status. Additional steps may be required depending on your situation. It is a good idea to consult a professional before signing. When the lease contract is signed, the lessor must present the tax certificates or consent to the viewing. If neither happens, a direct check is available until the day the lease period begins. Completing this check before the balance payment is recommended. It is one of the important steps for protecting your security deposit.